Derek.
Hey, Trey.
Hot damn, man! It's Monday, and we are doing the last round of the SMX World Championship, which still cracks me up. Episode 68 of the Beyond the Curve the MX podcast. It's Monday morning. We are wrapping this season up quickly.
Yep.
We had a nice weekend. I did a run with my wife, we did a 15K challenge over in St. Pete. It's actually a really cool town. If they host the Supercross in Tampa this year, and you want to go watch Supercross in Tampa on Sunday, cruise over to St. Pete, go to the pier, go downtown, the Dolly Museum's there. The downtown St. Pete area is just a really cool area. It was a nice Saturday morning. Besides the fact that we ran 9.3 miles, watched the SMX on Sunday morning. Love Peacock. I know that the riders don't like 31 races, but I love the fact that I can go to Peacock and watch every race. Did you watch it Saturday night live, or did you watch it Sunday?
I watched as much as I could Saturday.
Okay.
And I fell asleep. So Moto 1 and Moto 2, or Moto 1 of the 450 and the 250 I watched. And
all right.
I fell asleep.
So, overall impression, what did you think of this track of SMX?
This track was much more motocross.
Yeah.
And I liked it. To me, I think it needed a little bit more Supercross feel to it, but it had the stadium feel. So I liked it all in all. Track was definitely slick.
Yeah.
They were all worried about losing their bike, but other than that, it was a good SMX track.
I thought they were talking about how hard it was to pass, and that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with it. I like this brand of racing.
Yeah,
I liked all the tracks. I know that they don't like. There's people complaining about the concrete walls. There's people complaining about. Someone was complaining that, oh my God, it looks like they're holding this in a parking lot. Dude, there was a huge crowd there.
Yeah, I mean. And it, like you said, the passing might have been hard, but that's how it should be. I mean, that gives it that Supercross type. Yeah. I mean, that puts these guys in a position where they got to be professional.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be tough. And I thought, even though we did it on 2 drag strips and one stadium or one speedway floor, the 2 drag strips, they presented themselves differently. And I thought all 3 rounds were good. So before we get into the results, I'm going to throw this out. My wife and I are watching it, and there's been the talk. We were bantering back and forth about how long the schedule is, 31 rounds. People are complaining, blah, 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 blah. And she said, and we were talking about the discipline of, man, these guys go 17 rounds of Supercross, and all they're thinking about is hitting this pocket. Can they quad? Can they triple? Do I roll this? Got to get on the brakes. Do I take the outside of this berm? And then they change and they go to motocross, and it's like, okay, I got a 130-foot jump, and then I got a straightaway with braking bumps. They go to SMX and they have both. They have to change thought processes in the middle. And Michelle's like, if they want to shrink this, like this, she's totally against this whole triple points, double points thing. Yeah. She's like, why don't they just put 3 of these in the middle of the season? Just let's shrink Supercross, let's shrink motocross, and let's just, the whole season yes, there's a Supercross champion, and yes, there's an outdoor champion, but the combined champion, these 3 rounds are just thrown in as wild card rounds, and just have a season, and whoever comes out on top of the overall season is the champion. Like, you have your motocross champion and you have a Supercross champion. She's like, and just throw these 3 rounds in. She goes, they're cool rounds, but the whole making a playoff, it's kind of meh.
Yeah, I don't like the setup. I like the racing.
Yeah,
I like the races. I like the tracks. I think it's a cool concept. I think it should be done differently, though. I do. I kind of agree with that. If they did you scored 200 points in Supercross, you scored 200 points in motocross, you're at 400 points. But yeah, you could throw, even if you split them up. You did your whole Supercross season because you don't want to run SMX like right after
Yeah.
Supercross. But if you did like you ran motocross for 2 weeks and threw in you could throw in an SMX round, and
Yeah.
then a few more rounds of motocross, and they throw in another SMX round, and then the last race of the season can be Vegas
Yeah.
again. Something like that would be, I think, would definitely break it up a little bit more. But it would also be wild if they did a Supercross and then threw in a motocross right in the middle of it. Like,
The old school days.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that would be challenging for these guys going from setup to like that. That would separate the men from the boys, I think. But I always said about the concept of you should take all your points from motocross or supercross and then motocross, and then that's how many points you have at the end.
Yeah.
If you're doing a playoff, I mean, instead of starting with 25 points and then double points and then triple points.
And I understand you get a guy like Eli that comes back. He missed pretty much all of motocross, and he ends up finishing third in the world championship.
Oh, it's nothing like Pierce Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
if you put it into that perspective, you get all these guys that have gained points all year long that are, if they don't perform well at these races, that they leave with $2,000.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with all that. I think there should be more combined points if you're doing if it's a full series. You should be combining all those points. Yeah, Deegan would have ran away with it at that point, but
that happens.
But if you still did your double and triple points, then they could catch up, I guess. But I don't agree with it. I mean,
yeah, I guess it's almost it's the last week of September. They're getting ready for Motocross the Nations, which we will touch on because are we going to send the team? Who are we going to send? And blah blah blah. But the racing was good all year, and it is exciting. As exciting as it is, you can tell it's kind of like, what else do we talk about?
mm-hmm.
And maybe we need to have 28 rounds. I know that's 3 rounds dropped. And if the guys want to go do those extra rounds, cool. TV can come. There's got to be something, but those 3 rounds can't affect the package that they're trying to get for the TV that much.
And I truthfully think these guys get burnt out on motocross. Like that's where I think all the burnout comes from.
But they also talk about halfway through, 3/4 way through the Supercross, they're like they're waiting for motocross. Like that's why I wonder. I know they say they would hate it and the teams would hate it, but I sometimes wonder, well, if you get burned out on each, what happens if you threw a mix in? I mean, IndyCar, they have a road course, they have a street course, they have a short oval, they have Indy. Then NASCAR does street courses and road courses and short ovals and long and big ovals, and you get tired. They run 36 races a year.
Yeah.
But each one of them is kind of a different challenge versus they run. IndyCar doesn't go, okay, we're running all our ovals. Now we're in the street course section, and now we're in the road course section. They're just interspersed.
See, and even in like my business, remodeling a kitchen. I mean, after the second, third week of it, you're just ready to be done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for them, it's a job. Yeah, I think Supercross would be. I prefer go to Supercross races over motocross races. So I'm sure it's more lively there, and it keeps them more entertained.
It's the show,
but it's still a job.
Yeah.
So they're still doing the same thing, for 17 rounds straight. So yeah, if you were to just mix it up for a week, like I said, throw a motocross in there. Probably like late season, or you'd have to have one. We'd have to open Gator back up or something again. But something like that, just to break it up, I think would boost the morale of them as a racer.
Well, think about let's take it out of motorsports. You have, when you go to concerts, you can go to a small venue, and sometimes big artists will do small venues just to have an intimate setting.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a stadium, or you go to a music festival. All 3 of those are different experiences.
Yeah.
And we're doing a stadium tour. And then that band, all of a sudden you hear about them. They're doing a stadium tour, but they snuck out and they did a small venue show
Yeah.
on one of the days because they just wanted to mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care if you're going to Foxborough or Raymond James or SoFi. At some point, it's just another damn stadium.
Yeah. Or just, I mean, there's always the option of still running that many races, but splitting it up. So now you're extending the series out until like early November.
Yeah.
I mean, they could schedule it around nations for the most part. I mean, block off 2 weeks that we don't race then. And then, our last 2 rounds are in November, but you give these guys a 3-week break more than twice, 3 times a year.
And that leads me to another thought. They were following Plessinger. I think it was Plessinger. They're following him. And I looked at Michelle and I was like, these guys talk about they don't have any off time now, and then they start right back into boot camp. Why do they need to do boot camp? Like most of these guys have a baseline fitness that is better than the average human being,
and they work on it daily.
All the time.
Like, it's absolutely I think it's uncalled for. I mean, these guys are constantly training, physically training, not riding.
Like the guys who aren't doing Motocross of Nations, which is all but 4, maybe 3. I mean, maybe nobody, because we might not even go. But the guys who aren't doing Motocross of Nations, which is the rest of the field, why couldn't they take October off, completely off, except, okay, we're going to ride once a week, we're going to ride our bicycle, we're going to do a fitness program to kind of keep us going. We're going to lose a little bit, and then we'll ramp it back up in November. They're not going to lose the baseline fitness that they have, their conditioning. And by the way, in Supercross, they have to go 20 minutes. Their strength, their endurance, their muscle memory, they go out on the track, and in 5 minutes they have the track mastered.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point now, maybe that's what they used to do. If we're going to run 31 rounds, the people like it. You guys don't like it, but the people like it. The TV likes it. Maybe you need to change your fitness regimen because you need to make it 31 rounds.
I mean, I think Carmichael's the one that kind of pushed it to that limit. And now, as far as I'm concerned, they race so much that, you still got to work out and, do your fitness stuff. But I don't think it needs to be as extreme as it is, because you're conditioning every weekend.
Yeah.
And unless, like you said, if they take all of October off, unless they're going to go out there and eat McDonald's every single day, I mean, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, they might lose a little conditioning, but in that month of November,
you're going to be a little bit more sore when you come back.
They're going to get it back. And so, like, you hear it about all the time. I didn't even ride the whole week. And they come out and finish 4th at the next race they're back at. It's like, so you keep telling us that you have to ride 2 to 3 times a week and do these motos, but then we get stories of guys, I didn't ride all week. And as the older guys go, they're like, yeah, man, my recovery is way more important than my riding. And they come out and they're... So I'm kind of starting to think that maybe, yes, you're a badass, but you don't have to do this boot camp in order to come out and be ready for Anaheim 1.
They're already fluent on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the bike mastered at that point. Yeah, when it comes into Supercross or motocross, you got to start doing some testing. Bikes change. We got to test the bikes, but testing and riding the way that they do are 2 different things. Like, I see it as an excuse more than why can't they make their own training regimen? And if they want to take a month off, they can take a month off,
and they'll be back,
and they'll be just fine when they come back. Like,
I really do think that. I mean, I know that, like, other sports, they train, but, like, they're training. They're not obliterating themselves until January 6th or whenever A1 is.
Yeah.
They're And that 1 month of boot camp, okay, cool. You take the month off and then you go, hey, we're going to train hard to get our fitness back. Your fitness is not going to fall off. The baseline of these guys, most of these guys have been at this 5 to 10 years. Your baseline fitness is built.
Yeah. Yeah, the top guys have really nothing to worry about. Like,
Yeah.
go out on the boat for a week.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to go crazy and go to Cancun and like you're going to like just go crazy. You're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
But you're also like, okay, I know I've got this month. It means I can have some ice cream and a beer. You could look like Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb was overweight when he went to Paris. He comes in for Anaheim 1 and he's like, fit.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah, they're just too much pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like you said, you're not going to lose that. Even your weeks in between, like Supercross rounds, go out and get drunk. I mean, do what you want to do.
Well, maybe don't go out and get drunk, but
either way, they're going to be fine. You know what I mean?
yeah. But I understand the professionalism, but I also understand the overtrain. Like when Tom Brady went on vacation, he took his chef with him and still did workouts, but they were not the same workouts that he was doing when he's in the New England training camp. Like it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So enjoy life a little bit and stop worrying so much about, oh, I've got to do this boot camp. Teams, stop worrying so much. Like they're running 31 rounds. They're okay. They're fine. I think we saw good racing this year because I think because of some of the injuries, we saw good racing because they were forced to take some time off.
Yeah.
And you're fresh.
Yeah, your mental exhaustion was kind of fixed.
Yeah.
And repaired.
How long have we been doing this? We haven't even touched results yet.
17, 18 minutes. 18
minutes in, and we haven't even talked about the results. We had a first-time winner.
Yeah, and he looked good. Pierce Brown, give that boy a start. You know what I mean? Give him a start, and if he can keep it on two wheels, he's good.
Yeah. By the way, I put my drink on the floor this week because I don't want to have another Diet Coke advertisement, free advertisement for Diet Coke.
So. Yeah, we want the next one paid.
So yeah, Troy Lee Designs, Red Bull Gas going bye-bye. No more fun. Their last ride, which I thought was a really cool sponsorship with the Venom Marvel thing, which, by the way, I went and saw Deadpool because it's funny. Venom doesn't look funny to me, so I don't think I'm going to go watch Venom.
The bikes good.
The bikes look good.
I liked it.
Pierce Brown looked good. In the first, it wasn't a fluke. He looked good in the first moto, and he looked good in the second moto.
Yeah, and I think, Moto 2, I think Hayden maybe could have ran him down, but he even said...
He tried.
He even said, like, he was pulling a gap, so I just backed off. I don't know that he could have caught him. He was moving.
Yeah, there was no slowing down. That's good. We all know where Pierce Brown is going next year. He's going to be on the same bike that Deegan is riding. Mm-hmm. So if he can get a start, maybe we have a little battle.
Yeah.
Jordan Smith did not say where he was going, but we all know where he's going to. And he's going to Triumph next year?
I believe.
Yeah, so he didn't say. Joe Shimoda locked in at Honda. Joe Shimoda doing Joe Shimoda things at the end of the season with no pressure.
Yeah, just kind of cruising.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tom Vial, an overall disappointment in these rounds to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was there fighting, and he always screwed it up.
But the funny thing is, he finished third in the first moto, eighth in the second moto, and he finished second overall in the points. But it was a very quiet SMX.
Yeah. Just there to make some money.
The incident with Ty Masterpool in the first moto, complete accident.
That was his own fault.
Well, that was Ty's fault in the first moto.
Oh yeah, the second
moto, that was Tom Vial's fault. Yeah. Like there was no. It was ironic that the two of them crashed twice together, but neither one of them was anybody's fault except for the rider that was behind. Like it was not. There was no malicious.
It was racing.
Yeah, literally, and it just coincidentally happened to be the two of them. Max Dancy, amazingly quiet.
Yeah, he his star ride has not been impressive.
No.
I mean, I like Max Anstey. He's really good, but this year he hasn't been really good.
No.
I don't know what's going on with him.
Ty Masterpool put on a show in the start of the second moto. The railing of the berms was unbelievable.
It was incredible.
But boy, we have some work to do on Supercross.
Yeah, I thought he was just feeling it and he was going to run.
But
truthfully,
he could not do the triple quad.
No, he could not get any rhythm at all. And he lost everything.
I know he loves training, doing his own thing, but it would be really nice if maybe he would go spend some time in California and on the Kawasaki training regimen. Like, just go now. Just leave now. Go out there, spend 2-3 weeks, get a little tutelage, go back to Texas, do your thing. But man, he is not going to be their premier rider in Supercross next year. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, and he only came out of that with $22,760, and it could have been way better.
Last year he did like 75,000.
Yeah,
on the 450.
It could have been way better had he done a little more Supercross practice.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But he's got a contract, which is awesome. Levi Kitchen, very, very underwhelming through this. I don't know if he's still battling an injury.
Yeah. Same with Cameron McAdoo. I mean, those two were, I'd say, at the top of their game at the end of Supercross. And then they both get hurt and things just change.
Garrett Marchbanks, 10th overall, 8th, 12th, really underwhelming. I just didn't hear anything about him. Like, this was, if you were not up with Deegan, you really weren't in the show. Mm-hmm. And I don't think through any of these he was really up near the front. Rider differential, what is he going to do? Do we know where he's going next year?
Mm-mm. No, I have no idea.
I mean, I can't imagine that he's just going to get dumped. He's had a respectable year. Like, he's gotten better. He's had some performances.
And it's a rookie year at that.
So. Yeah, I mean, a 7:16. I think he went down on the second moto. Like you said, Cameron McAdoo. Jett Reynolds actually kind of had a resurgence in the SMX. And he had to come through the LCQs every time.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. Talon Hawkins. Cody Schock, really, I know he had a terrible first moto, but I thought, and maybe it's just because there needed to be horsepower, I thought he might do better in these SMX rounds. But that muck-off Yamaha bike, man, it must just not do good in outdoors.
But it's mind-blowing to me because it's not like we're in the outdoor terrain, like the ups and the downs and the elevation. It's literally, these tracks are still flat.
Yeah.
But, just long, like, you can't tell me that bike is that slow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I mean, to pull a 7th in Moto 2, it's clearly not slow. I think maybe at that point it was just rider. And maybe he's so down right now just because he's beat up from motocross.
What did he end up earning in the 250s?
Cody Schock, 17,000.
17,000, not bad.
No.
But he did not perform well.
It could have been way better.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his Supercross season compared to that. So, yeah, it definitely could have been way better.
And really, the rest were just fill-ins. Nicholas Romano, 18th overall. I can't imagine that he's on Star next year.
I wouldn't. I hope not.
I have not heard a single word, but I can't imagine.
They have some other guys that they could pick up, but
they already have. I mean, they're getting Pierce next year. The guy who won the Futures round. I mean, the Cole Davies.
Cole Davies, yeah.
He looked ready. Like, he looked ready. Is he going to be on Supercross next year? Or are they going to make him do Futures again?
I don't know, and I can't believe that it was. I didn't think that Drew could go from pro and go backwards to the 250 All-Star.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned about that too, but he proved he's in a different class because as tough as that track was supposedly to pass on, he came from dead last to 6th.
Yeah, and that was my thing. Like, you hit the pro ranks. In any other AMA event, you can't do that. Yeah. You can't go from A to B, So it's literally like going from A and then I'm going to race B class today.
I don't know how that worked, but
just maybe because he was the champion, reigning champion, they wanted him to run. But I don't think it'd also be like going from 450s to 250s. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
But not really nothing else that I can see to. I did see there was a very low 250 turnout for the race.
Yeah.
Um, which is weird to me since it was in Vegas. Like everybody was so excited to get back to Vegas that I really thought there would be lots of guys that were, hey, I'll come run the LCQ. You need me to run the LCQ? I'll run it. I'll run it. But that's all I got for the 250s. Deegan's good, man.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to say. The guy's just good.
Man, I thought he was going to throw it away in Moto 2 when he started Sky and stuff. Like, why are you launching like that? You only needed a 4th place.
I think the funny thing is he looks that way, but he rarely actually throws it away.
Yeah, I mean, he'll go full send and he can control.
Yeah, he's not as smooth as a Jett.
No.
But he doesn't throw it away. Like it looks ragged, but it's really not ragged.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he only had a couple crashes this year. If you really think about it, he only had a couple crashes.
Yeah, and they were nothing like too crazy.
The helicopter at Hangtown was a little big, but that was a random.
And he never gets hurt. I mean,
yeah,
his fitness is on par.
So I mean, as we've said 3 weeks in a row, dude, this class is gonna have to work in order to beat him next year.
Yeah.
Whatever coast he's on, I know they always talk about hiding from this guy. There will be some guys who choose not to ride the coast that he's on.
Yeah, I can see it. But
do you think he goes east again, or do you think he goes west? Where's the show? Where does the family want Deegan to run next year?
Oh yeah, that's what it's going to be up to. Is where do they want him to run?
Yeah.
But I could see him just running east again to be the reigning champion.
He's not Supercross though. He didn't win.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, Vial won.
Yeah.
And RJ won the West.
Yeah. Now he might do West then, just for the old Cali.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
I mean, it would make more sense to do West.
And we talk about how wild and crazy and everything. You hear his interview afterwards, with the race day crew. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I've already got the car, blah blah. Yeah, my mom says I really need to buy another rental property, and you're like, everybody thinks about how wild he is, and he's structuring himself so that when this is over, he doesn't have to do anything. So for as wild and crazy as everybody thinks he is, there's a business in there.
Yeah. Oh, you coming from a business family.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a business in there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. Now there was a funny part, I guess, on Race Day Live. I didn't see any of Race Day Live where he talked about having to go to the bathroom and felt sorry for anybody that had to clean the Star bathroom.
No, I missed it.
I haven't seen it, didn't really look it up, didn't really care. But I guess he made a funny comment about having to go to the bathroom and going to the Star rig to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that made its rounds on X. And I was like, I just don't care. I'm not 12. It's if I had heard it would have been funny, but it's one of those
bathroom jokes are for children.
Yeah. Or adults that just
act like children.
I mean, if someone's standing at a urinal and they fart, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I can't help it. So do we jump to 450s?
Yeah. I'm looking over some of the payouts right now just out of curiosity.
For the 250 side or
the 450 side? Okay. It's been big money there.
Yeah, there actually was some decent. How did Dean Wilson end up coming out?
Dean Wilson, where is he at? 18th with a $37,900 payout.
Okay, so the guy with bad knees and everything, we know he's retiring. He got no love.
He said he's not retiring.
He's not retiring.
He's going to select his rounds, but he's not retiring.
Okay.
He's not ready to retire for a few years.
Oh.
He just wants to be selective in his. I did hear that. I watched that. I don't know if that was Race Day Live.
Okay.
Because I did watch bits and pieces of that.
Because there was so much love for Phil Nicoletti, and I'm like, but Dean Wilson is right behind him and is getting ready to retire too.
Nope.
Oh.
He's still racing.
So 37,000. That's not a bad payout for 3 rounds. And really, if you think about it, it's 3 rounds. So
Yeah.
he made over $10,000 each week for 3 rounds.
Yep.
And
Nicoletti came out with 34.2. I mean, that's
yeah,
for 3 weeks of racing.
yeah, for having to run 250 Supercross and literally grind it out in 450 motocross so that you can get into the SMX.
Mm-hmm.
And on Dean's side, he ground it out in Supercross and had to run a couple rounds and had to run the LCQs all 3 rounds to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. What did Kyle Chisholm do?
22nd.
Yeah, he struggled. He
Yeah.
struggled. He took a big hit too. He had a big crash
Yep.
this weekend. And has he announced anything?
No, not that I know of.
I just can't imagine with them hiring other riders that he's going to continue to race.
I wouldn't. Surely he's in test mode at this point.
Yeah.
He earned his money this year and
Yeah.
kind of dipping out. Christian Craig was 20th. He had a rough go at it.
How did Malcolm do?
17th, right above Dean, which is like Harry Kulos beat him.
That's the story right there.
Yeah.
What did Harry make?
13th, he made $43,300.
Comes over and
Marshall
literally,
Welton,
yeah,
he cleared 41.6.
that's amazing. These guys are just grinding it out and come up and like this is that drew them in.
Mm-hmm.
So the story of the night, Jett Lawrence. He was the hunter. It's funny, he was following a true hunter. His brother is Hunter, but in the first moto, he was the hunter. And when Eli bobbled, he took advantage, and that was it the rest of the night. It was over.
Jett was on a mission.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could tell just last week his interview, he was pissed, and he put that to work.
He also shaved.
Yeah.
He got rid of the mustache.
He needed all the aerodynamics he could get. Yep. He was ready to rock.
But he looked good. Eli looked awesome.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to seeing what he looks like next season, because to come back after this injury as an old Jett also came back from an injury, but Eli is older. Eli's 10 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And to come back and look that fresh and viable in these races, yeah. I'm excited. I don't know if anybody can beat Jett. If Jett doesn't screw up, but Eli does have the speed to cause him troubles.
I think Hunter might be a prospect too. Those boys tied. So,
yeah,
they were tied for points. The only thing that changed it was, what, 2 extra moto wins or 1?
Yeah. All right, so Jett was, as we were before the break, Jett looked good. Hunter, has he found himself?
I think everything's finally clicking. He's looking good.
Yeah.
And he was giving Jett a run. I mean, obviously nobody knows Jett like Hunter, but he was making a run for it.
Yeah,
Jett's just good.
It's just it's kind of the Hayden Deegan Jett Lawrence. Like they're just good. Like everybody was talking on the broadcast how fast Eli looked. Well, Jett was right behind him. Jett just doesn't look fast. He's just fast.
Yeah. It's a slow fast.
Yeah, and they are 2 very diverse styles.
Oh yeah, there's the wide open Yamaha screaming, and then there's the slow, subtle CRF just for that.
But when Jett got him, he was gone.
Yeah,
he was gone. Like last week when he got Eli said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna stick with you." This week when he got him, there was 2 seconds immediately, and it was done. Like I gapped him. It's like on a road bike racing when they break off and they break them and they break away. If they can break away and actually get a gap, then that person okay, they sit up. They call it sitting up. And like Eli just kind of set up and was like, "Whoop, okay, you broke me." And I don't think he broke him. It's just like I can't go there. I can't go there. Eli looked good. I'm impressed. Aaron Plessinger, he finally came back a little bit, but this is where he fits in if all these guys are riding well. This is his spot.
Yeah, he's not at that level.
No.
He's fast. He's not at the top 3 level.
Cooper Webb got better each round.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No.
I mean, but there was the only thing I didn't like about SMX was the whole show was essentially all 3 rounds was 1 through 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they didn't really show anybody else.
Mm-mm.
You know, brief glimpses here and there, but it's nothing like Supercross bounces all over the place.
Yeah.
If the leader's out there, they don't even show him.
Yeah.
You know, I think they lacked that on the broadcast quite a bit. That they needed to diversify.
In all their forms of racing, they kind of go. They have this thing called going through the field,
Mm-hmm.
where they'll start like they give you a rider, me a rider, and then everybody goes through, and then they give you another rider, and we talk about, hey, Ken Roxon's running in sixth right now. He's been training. He's been battling so and so, and then they go to the next guy, and like you talk about the next guy. And once we get kind of into it, you can always cut away. But as you're going
happens.
through, you can go through the field. And I'm not saying you have to cover Christian Craig at 22nd, but give us the top 10, or if there's a good battle going on in the race, give us that.
Because you know there was racing behind the out front.
Because there was big dollars.
Yeah, like it got to the point where Jett, Hunter, and Tomac were so spread apart, but we watched them from beginning to end. And
well,
it was
in the second moto, Jett and Hunter had split away from Eli, but then Eli was, or maybe it was the first moto, it was Jett and Eli and Hunter. Hunter was 5 seconds back, and then it was 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, they're in their own race at that point.
Yeah.
Show me who's in
Show
front.
us the race, because there's a race going on behind that somewhere.
So I agree with you on that completely wholeheartedly. And those are just little things like, hey, you've got the talent. I mean, for God's sakes, you had James, you had Ricky, you had Jason, you had Will, you had Weege, pull in. You could go through. You could give, if you gave, let's see, you had Weege, Jason, Will, Bubba, Ricky, you have Brayton, AC, and then the girl who does, by the way, for those that don't like her, she's big in F1. So like Katie Osborne, she does F1 stuff.
I'm not a big fan of her.
No, but she's got her teeth sunk in.
Yeah.
Like she actually is in motorsport.
Yeah.
So you have 8. You could cover 8 riders
right there.
Right there. Give them 10-second blurbs. Pan the camera to them.
Mm-hmm.
10-second blurbs. That's 80 seconds. That's just over a minute. But all of a sudden, we're another minute and a half into the race, and you can go back and start covering.
Yeah.
And we just covered 8 riders who are not in the top 3. Hey, guys, top 3 is broken away. We're going to start with Aaron Plessinger. Pick your rider. We're going to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
You got 10 seconds to talk about that rider.
I agree. There was too much lack of the rest of the racing for me. The racing was good. I liked what I saw, but I needed more of everybody else. You know.
I want to give a quick shout out to the most boring rider in the field, who did an amazing job with a cracked collarbone.
Justin Cooper.
So the most boring guy in the field, guess what? He's also a badass.
Mm-hmm.
He finished 6th overall with a 5.7 with a cracked collarbone.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And he was 8th in series. So.
And he's re-signed with Star, which I'm amazed. Like, that's good. I mean, it's not unexpected, but wow.
He deserves it, but I mean, I think there is a couple other guys that could probably fit the bill a little bit better, but he's pulling whole shots. He's led a few of these things very often.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole time, but
Ken Roxon was invisible pretty much the entire series. But it's fine.
And that's what I mean. Like, all these riders were so quiet and invisible, but they actually weren't. The broadcast made them that way.
They showed him once or twice Saturday. Like I know he only finished 7th, but like he's been a story all year.
Yeah, and like they wouldn't have even talked about Barsha if it wasn't for the Venom gear or landing on Chase.
Which, by the way, we're to Barsha now. That was not Barsha's fault.
That was Chase's fault.
That was not a bam bam move.
That was Chase's fault wholeheartedly. He
Yeah.
knows better than to swap lanes on a start like that.
Yeah.
That was absolutely on Chase.
And that could have been way worse.
Yeah,
than
that
it
could have
was.
been a Trey Kennard
Yeah.
and back in what? It's like 2012 or something like that, 2011. I can't remember the year.
And Chase, pretty much, they're saying potentially broken hand.
Yeah.
Which now leads us to who do we send to the nations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, they've already shipped a 250 for Cooper, so we can't say, well, just send Cooper on a 450. We still find a 250 rider. RJ Hampshire's out because we don't know if he's going to race again because that hit was so big. Justin Cooper, we found out the reason he can't go. They asked Justin Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I can't do it. Well, now we found out he's got a cracked collarbone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he can't handle that. This is for big money.
Yeah.
That's for fame.
And yes, we could send Deegan, but Deegan doesn't want to go. Or he's got to get his hand fixed. Whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's a big fight.
But Cooper Webb's going. Well, some team is now going to have to airship another bike.
Yeah. We still got AP going.
Yeah.
And Cooper Webb. So, does Tomac now go?
Now, supposedly, they've asked 2 riders. We know one of them was Tomac.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other one was. I really don't know. Did they ask Justin Barsha?
Yeah, but like Tomac says, he wants to earn that spot.
Yeah.
He wants it. He will go. He said he'll gladly go, but he wants it to be earned, and that's not earned.
They've had the conversation with him since.
Yeah.
And
I mean, his SMX performance, it's earned.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So, but yes, the Justin Barsha incident, Justin actually had just for coming back, not bad. I mean, not bad.
No.
I wouldn't expect more from him. Who is he going to beat? All these guys have been racing, and he came in and he did good. And I know he was wanting more for his last ride. Now, have you heard the story? He's going to the Baker's factory. His choice. He's going to the Baker's factory next year.
No kidding.
Who are they kicking out? Because Alden only has 4 riders.
Yeah.
We know one of them. Well, Christian Craig is now done because they said it was his last ride on a KTM bike.
Yeah. So you wonder what's going on there.
So Malcolm's there, Barsha's there, RJ's there, and Plessinger. So those are the 4. So that means Christian Craig is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taking the Christian Craig spot. His choice to go there. He's going to be riding for factory gas. So are they going to have to wrap a whole damn semi for one rider?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, one rider?
That's not like a Jett Lawrence stature.
No.
I mean, I love Barsha. I'm a big Barsha fan. But, yeah, I don't know.
Because Troy Lee's going to be spending all next year prepping for Ducati.
Yeah.
Which is going to be weird for him because
they're still going to have a race team, though.
Who? What?
I mean, where's Ryder D?
Supposedly Troy Lee Designs is done for this year.
That's what they say, but are they going to be?
Are they going to be the subcontractors? Like, is it just going to be gas, and hey, you're not Troy Lee this year, but
yeah, your gas factory racing.
Yeah, but can we use your people?
Or do they bring in a big 1 year title sponsor?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. We get rid of the factory guys. We go to Harry Koulas.
827 factory gas racing, I think.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
They fund it. I'll go.
Okay. I mean, we all have dreams, right?
Yeah.
But Harry Koulas, that's the story to me of the year. The guy comes over, finds bikes, has them moved all over the country, sells them if they're too far to ship to the next race, and just buys another one. Is racing the full Brazilian Arena Cross Series, is doing this kind of on a whim, and comes out with a top 10 in the last race.
Mm-hmm.
And makes $41,000 for the series.
That's probably good money.
That's awesome.
For what he's doing.
That's awesome. Living the dream. And he beat Shane McElrath and Freddie Norrin, who raced all year, Dylan
Yeah.
Ferrandis, Jason Anderson, Grant Harlan, Colt Nichols, Phil Nicoletti. Now, Phil Nicoletti, I don't know what happened in the first moto, but Phil, congratulations on the top 10 on your last race ever.
I mean, a lot of these guys that he beat in the points was, yeah, Malcolm, Christian Craig, Dean Wilson,
Yeah.
just under McElrath, above Colt Nichols. I mean, I can't see any complaints.
Yeah. Speaking of McElrath, he kind of got short shifted with the whole Suzuki thing. Jumps on Mad Parts. I think he actually did pretty good on the Kawasaki.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't do worse than he did on the. I know he had a fourth in the mud race at whatever San Francisco or San Diego on the Suzuki, but really he didn't do great on the Suzuki. He came in straight away on the Kawasaki and he did okay. Like he did fine.
Yeah, there's not much to complain about. I mean,
Does that mean he's racing next year?
I don't.
For
That's what I
them?
was just gonna say. I don't know if he's gonna. He's got to be coming to an end. I mean, he loves what he does, but
Yeah.
he's got to be. At some point, there's. I mean, he's older than I am.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
But these guys are proving that they can keep going. I mean, it started kind of with Chad Reed, like, hey, I can keep riding, I can keep riding. And if you've noticed, that trend hasn't stopped. When Chad Reed kind of proved that, hey, you can ride into your late 30s.
Yeah,
Look at how many of the top guys are in their 30s now.
I'm gonna see how old he is.
Well, while you're doing that, Freddie Norrin, good year for Freddie Norrin.
No, he's younger than I am. I thought he was older than I am.
He just looks
He
older.
just looks it.
Yeah. Freddie Norrin had a good year. Overall, a good year. 14th, which that is a very amazing score. 14, 14 for 11th overall. That's not,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Marshall Welton, like you said, Dylan Ferrandis, I don't know what happened, but in the first moto, he finished 10th. Was this a good year for Dylan Ferrandis?
I think so. I mean,
He made it through.
he's not as fast as maybe he used to be, but we got a different field now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a different level than him.
Does he stay with the same program?
Where's he gonna go?
Yeah, no,
I mean, who's gonna? He's not bad, but who's gonna take him? I mean,
has Phoenix Honda proven enough that when Honda's ready to break off their 250 team, that they can handle it?
I don't know.
Because I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Honda's gonna throw Hymas and Joe to the wolves and say, "Hey, now you're Phoenix Honda riders."
No.
But I'm wondering when Hymas and Joe are done, because there are no. If you look at the futures, there are no Honda pipeline riders.
Mm-mm.
They're going to have to get a rider.
Yeah.
But does that mean instead we're not going to have any pipeline riders because we're not going to have a 250 team? We'll support a 250 team.
Yeah.
And has Phoenix done enough by jumping into the 450 class to prove that they can handle being a satellite team?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Ferrandis is.
He's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good rider, but he's not like phenomenal, and he's challenging.
Yeah.
You know, he's a challenging individual. So I don't know. Like you said, the next couple of weeks we're gonna hear all kinds of crazy stuff.
October 1st, we get our Supercross schedule, and that's also when traditionally the contracts start.
Mm-hmm.
So this next week, as we're in the last week of September, this next week is going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
So Jason Anderson, he was okay. I know his results this race don't show it. Seventh, he was in fourth and he crashed and finished seventh. And I have like you were talking about with the coverage, I have no idea what happened to him in the second moto.
No, and that's the kind of stuff that makes me angry. Like I wanted to see all of it.
Yeah.
But we got none of it.
Grant Harlan, for having the massive injury that he had.
What happened to Malcolm?
I don't know.
See, and
and he was rolling around in the first In the first moto, he was rolling around and didn't even race the second moto.
Yeah. Like I no idea what happened.
Yeah, they were coming to lap him, and I'm like, what's wrong with them? Not one mention. James is talking, they're passing, and it's like, oh, I wonder what happened to my nothing. Like,
I don't even know what happened to Christian Craig.
yeah, I don't know.
It's just that kind of stuff drives me nuts. I want to hear about it, but yeah, we didn't get a whole lot out of them.
How about Colin Park didn't get to race the first moto, gets into the second moto and finishes 15th?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's pretty good.
That's really good. Colt Nichols did not race the first moto and finished ninth in the second moto. I don't know what happened to him in the LCQ.
I don't know. Like I don't know what happened with anything.
Yeah, and like all we heard was, oh, he didn't qualify. But I was looking at the LCQ results, and I swear he finished third in the LCQ.
Yeah, well, I looked at the qualifying results, and he was in, and then
But he had to run the LCQ.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then yeah, something happened. I don't.
But ninth in the first moto. I mean, ninth in the second moto is good. That means he just finished behind Ken.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, Justin in the second moto. I mean, he was running good. So the experiment going to Suzuki hasn't been bad for him. What happened? Why did he not qualify for the first motos?
I don't know.
So
Something was confusing.
and then poor Chase Sexton, the guy has grounded out all year, been kind of this like, hey, I'm here to pick up the pieces. I'm fast, and just got made a brain fart and got obliterated.
Yeah, I think his mindset was get to the front, and
Yeah.
he made the wrong move. I mean, you at that level, you know better. Like you know not to. That bike has to stay straight through that section.
Yeah.
But he paid the price.
Real quick, something we were watching, and they were showing the gate, and you had Jett, you had Cooper Webb, and you had Eli, and you had Sexton. There is no number 5, and I'm like, okay, someone's got to take number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is Jeremy Martin. We have a 7. No one takes 8 for some reason. AC's gonna lose 9. I'm sorry. No 250 rider deserves a single digit number.
No.
I know Deegan is now going to qualify for a single digit number. No 250. That looks so cool on the gate when you had 1, 2, 3, and 4 all right there. You're like, oh shit, this is okay.
They deserve to have those numbers. But
and then, oh, where's number 6? Oh, he lines up on 250s, but he's actually hurt. He's not even ready. What, with the 250? Yeah, the way they do the points. No, I'm sorry. I've now become a fan of the 450 guys need the single digit.
The numbers. Top guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
if they want it.
If they want it. It should be double digit numbers, and like you cannot leave double digits till you don't jump to 450.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I always agree with that. And what's Deegan gonna take? 8.
8.
That would be the only. But I don't think it's right.
No, and I'm glad someone's finally going to take 8. I haven't quite understood why no one would take 8. I don't understand. Someone should take 5.
Like that's what I would be. If I had a single digit number, it'd be 8.
Yeah.
But
I just don't understand why no one will take 5. Like
yeah.
Or 8. Well, no one took 8. I don't know who's going to take 9, but man, it would be so. And I think Jeremy Martin should say, hey, I'm done. Someone can take my number. Because it would be really cool if we could get to the point that the whole 450 gate is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Now, obviously, we'll lose one, excuse me, if we don't have a champion. But that does look good. It looks good.
Yeah.
You get it. Like, oh, okay, these are the guys.
That's the boys to watch.
Yeah. So that was just a side note. Overall, the season, to me, getting to go to some races in the backside was an experience that I will treasure and look forward to doing some more of.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the motocross season was good. I think the diversity of tracks for motocross, I'm not opposed. I know these guys, they don't want to lose their money, and we may touch on that in a second. But I'm not opposed to Why can't we go back to Freestone? Why can't we run around at Gatorback? Why can't we maybe, if we're only going to run 11 or 10 rounds, start rotating some of these? Hey, we know you're the 4th of July round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you may have to be the Memorial Day round in order to have a round this year.
Yeah.
I understand all that, but like we have other tracks we need to put in.
Yeah, it needs changed up.
And I'm not saying every round needs to change, but
No, but
what happens if we just add there's a rotating round?
Especially like Gatorback, a lot of these guys are down here.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be less travel, and they're gonna feel a lot more comfortable driving to Gatorback than jumping on a plane and spending a whole weekend.
And I know it's hot. It's of course it's hot, but they all train in it.
Yeah,
They all
it's
train
no
in it.
different than what they do every day. I mean, look, Texas was hot.
Do it early season.
Yeah.
Do it early. But we're in California. It's okay. Like if you have to do it early, or guess what? Do it at the end of the season. It's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
But how many rounds this year did they say were hot? Budds Creek was hot. Washougal, in the furthest northwestern section of the United States, was hot.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be hot. When we did WW Ranch, I thought the racing was awesome because that track is sandy as can be. It was good. It was rough. It was hot. But just giving us that variety of, hey, we're going to rotate one track each year. You're all going to get to be in, but there's 13, 14 tracks. That means every 4 years you're going to be out. Mm-hmm. You're going to be in for 10 years and then you're going to be out every 4 years.
Or it's who's going to pay the most. Put it in a bidding system.
Yeah, yeah, but that takes you to, good God, that takes you to the Cooksey Coombs battle.
Yeah,
and I don't know where that ends, man. Yes, it's a capitalist society. They're harping on the concrete walls. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to paying the riders. I'm not opposed to, but until the riders say, we're not riding, mm-hmm. and the teams say, we're not riding, there's nothing that's going to happen. You keep saying you don't want to cause any problems. You just want to expose the stuff. But you went to the track on Friday and took video again.
Yeah.
Like,
causing problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just stop. Like,
can't. Like, people like that, they can't. Yeah, they just gotta, and it's making them famous too, which is what drives me nuts even more.
For the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons. Like,
I'm not opposed. He may actually have some good information, but the way you're going about it, like, I actually watched one of his videos and he's like, yeah, they can take this piece of paper and shove it up their ass because they're not going to get anything from me. And it's like, but you're fighting a battle. Like, fight the battle the proper way. Someone put up post like colored pictures in bathrooms at the races talking about this stuff, and it's like, dude, it's this is not the way to go about it. You're damaging something.
It's a good way to take himself right out of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when it irritates me when you got guys like us that want to be more involved, but then you got guys like that are just doing the things that they do, and it makes it harder for the rest of us.
But look at all the other sports. NFL is doing its best to own every day of the week. Mm-hmm. It's a money grab. Baseball, soccer, you name it. College football is not even college football anymore. It's pro minor. And you're worried about these people making money from athletes who are also getting paid. And the ones who aren't getting paid are choosing to do it to chase the dream.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. I hate that we even talk about it, but it is important because he's getting some traction.
Yeah, it's just a wormhole that we're going to keep going down.
Yeah.
No, but back onto the normal stuff, because this would drive me crazy. Like, he would drive me nuts if we sit and talk about this. So, but the 2024 season, SMX season, was, I think, one for the books. It was a really good season. It was fun to be there and be a part of some of them.
Were the tracks for SMX better this year than last year?
I think so. A little more hard pack, a little more challenging, but I think they're getting a good hold on it. I bet next year will be really good.
Yeah.
I think if they can fix a little bit of the broadcasting, it'll be better. But other than that, I do believe that it's just going to keep getting better as the years go on.
No, I thought the year was good. I really I'm not even opposed to the amount of racing. Um, I don't mind. I mean, MXGP is still going.
Yeah.
I know they race less races, but all of those guys race their national series too, or pick a national series to run.
Mm-hmm.
So they run races when they're not racing. But I'm looking forward to what 2025 brings. I think we're going to see some rider developments. I think we're going to see some team developments. Um, I'm curious what they do with the whoops. Are we going to maybe add a 10th whoop so that we can't just go 333 through the whoops?
I think they just need to bring them back, bring the Dragons back,
Okay,
back.
or don't even bring the dragons back, but that new step on roller thing that they had where you had like the
Mm-hmm.
little jump first of the platform and then add some more of those in.
Yeah, or
And
give us an obstacle that none of us have seen.
yeah,
Come up with
yeah.
something wild.
Give us a really steep short double.
Yeah,
Like it's not a tabletop, it's not a hip jump, it's literally a double and you got to clear it, but you can't
yeah,
over jump it.
like a almost like a wall jump that doubles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something wild that's just a boot or slows you down a whole lot,
Yep.
and you can't roll them because it'll really slow you down. You'd have to double it.
Yeah.
Something like that would be cool.
Something odd that just it'll work. I think motocross. I don't think we'll see any changes. I don't think we'll see a different track. The only track I can see them saying we're out is Paula Fox, but I don't see it going away because they
No,
want to be in California,
yeah,
so they want to start the series out there. SMX I look forward to, but my goal next year is if we have a race in Tampa, if I don't have a way to help a rider and be in the pits on Friday, then I will have the exact same seats I've had for the other 3 events that I've been to at Tampa Stadium.
yeah,
Um, if they go to Alabama, I've contemplated like I actually liked that last year. I could go back to Alabama again.
yeah.
So now, anything more for you from the pro side?
No, no,
Okay,
it's
amateur racing is how we got together, and you guys are kind of going through a transition of what you're doing, what you're looking at, and what you're going to be doing. There was a Gold Cup round this weekend at Dade City. You guys elected not to do it. You're going to focus finishing up at Dade City Series. What does the rest of 2024 look like for 827 MX and the Schaefer family?
that's truthfully just finishing out. I think we're just going to finish out Dade this year. We scaled it back quite a bit from last year just to focus more on riding and training. And I think next year that's kind of what we're going to focus on again is more training time than racing time. Get these kids where they need to be. And got Minios coming up. Caleb will definitely be there. I don't know if we're going to race it or not, but we'll see when that time comes. We still got another 2 months to go. So, yeah, Minios, finish out Dade this year, and then probably come in strong to next year, starting different series and travel around a little bit and get them into some different riders. And we we got right now. We Caleb goes out, dominates Dade. We're always in the top at Dade. It's just it gets to the point. Yeah, some of the best riders came from Dade City, but we got to diversify a little bit if there's any plan of doing any of this in the future.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much about it.
Okay.
Riding, training, getting some things together, getting graphics on team graphics that are going on the bikes right now, and logistics stuff. That's really it.
Well, on the supercross side, motocross side, we will be here. I think, and you're hearing this for the first time, but one of my partners on the off road side, uh, my nephew has always been a part. He's scaled back his racing with some just different life changes, chasing a career, and so my buddy Jason has kind of hopped in on the off road side, and he's like, hey man, can we start new? So we started season 2, episode 1 this past week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for us next season, January, I think we should start season 3, episode 1.
That's fine. Yeah.
And
Start over.
Start
do
over.
Season 3, episode 1. And but continue on.
Yeah.
Do like a 0.6 or 7.0 or
Yeah.
wherever we're at.
And that way, we're kind of coming in new as well when we start the season. So those are things we're going to discuss. The big thing for Derek and I that we have to talk about is, okay, we've got now until January.
Mm-hmm.
We still want to put out content. Does that mean we go hang out at an amateur race and cover what we saw that weekend? I saw that Punta Gorda has announced their night series.
Yeah, actually, we were looking into that. I'd like to do a couple of those.
Maybe that's something we start going and like, hey, we'll check one of these. We'll check a Gold Cup. We'll go to Mini O's for a day, and maybe we'll just podcast there for a day.
Yeah.
And talk about what we saw, but we're gonna maybe tailor it back to every other week because really there's not gonna be a lot to talk about.
No, it's the team changes and the bike changes, stuff like that. That's really gonna be it. But Florida racing is strong right now.
So we will continue to have content, but it may be every other week versus every week.
Yeah.
Unless there's an emergency, something that we need to cover, we probably start doing every other week and then come out for season 3 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast starting in January, because we know the first weekend in January there will be Supercross racing.
Yeah, and I'm already ready for it.
Yeah. So, and we know it'll be in Anaheim.
Yep.
But for Derek Schaefer, and with DBS Custom Fabrication and Handyman Services, the owner of 827 MX, I am Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. It has been one hell of a season. We've covered a lot of racing. We've been to a lot of racing. And honestly, I don't really want it to end.
No, I'm not ready for it to end. It's been a great season. I'm glad to be a part of it. Thanks to Rylan Munson.
Yeah.
Everything we did with him, and hoping for some more of that this year. Get to be a little more involved, and even more involved than we were. So we'll see what happens, and we'll get our ducks in a row and see you on the next season.
But thank you. This has been episode 68 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. We will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.